I do a stream usually once a week called Conversations, where I'm like literally driving to my office for about 45 minutes and I just rant about whatever. And, I didn't, I have been in a space recently where I've just wanted to just start to speak my mind a little bit more. And even if that meant pushing back on people who I respect and like, I think you're a cool dude. I love your show. Um, and then when I saw this stuff happen, the clips come out, I was, I just wanted to say my piece, but in a way that was the way I thought was respectful enough that you might think like, oh, Shags has a little comment on it. Maybe I'll take what he has to say and maybe that'll mean something. Maybe it won't. Like I said, I think it's just our job to some extent to put our thoughts out there and just kind of, I mean, you do it in a different way. A lot of these other creators do it in a different way. But I just had my criticisms, thinking that the comments made were a bit harsh during that stream. I guess it was giving, my criticism became like we're starting to edge closer to the thing that we're fighting so hard against. Like, where do we draw the line? It's it's starting to become a little bit clearer that we're in maybe a bad space. And I did make it really, really clear that I'm not encouraging anyone to unsub from you or anyone else I have criticisms of. I want people to listen, but I also want people to have a healthy understanding of things and question things. And that's kind of the gist of what I was trying to get across during that live stream. So that's good basis, I think, for everyone.
Okay. So what made it so harsh for you? Like, what made it so egregious for you? And just to because people in the chat asking questions, this will be the last time I'm having a conversation about this entire situation. Mike Hollow had his issues or questions or whatever. And then I have my questions for Shagsworth. But aside from that, we're going right back to the topics after this. So this will be the last time we discuss this, just to remind everybody on the stream, because I know it's tiring hearing about it. But I think it's interesting and it's good to have the conversations and to have the questions answered. And I think it's healthy for everybody involved. So, but anyway, so yeah, what was like the most, like, why was it so egregious? Why was it so, for you anyway? I don't care what anybody else said. Like, why was it so?
Yeah. I thought Ryan's like Spear Chucker Studios comment was a bit much. Like, again, like that was sort of like when he said that, I was like, ugh, like, okay, I understand people's like where people are coming from. And I guess more to clarify more, like what I'm seeing from people and even from the wokesters, right? Like, I think every single person has this banter with their group of friends, right? It was, and how I put it on the stream was, this is a group of guys who get together all the time and they talk, and it's an eclectic group of people, multicultural group of people. And they're all okay with the jokes being thrown around. So I guess in my opinion, it was like, maybe not on a live stream that was like the place to do that joke, and then,
how long have you been watching us, Shags? Out of curiosity.
Like your Saturday Night Hypnosis?
Just in general, like my content or SNH or whatever. Yeah, like.
I guess it's been about, probably close to a year. Like, I know it's not like, I mean, I know it's not anything necessarily so out of character for you guys, but like I'm like super glad that we're talking about this, right? Because as a content creator, like I look up to you, man. Like you work hard, bro. Like you're a workhorse. It's I guess my thought process behind everything was like, I'm starting to understand a little bit why we're getting so much pushback. And sorry, my alarm's going off.
It's okay.
Why we're getting so much pushback in the space and why we're being called names the way. And again, names, sticks and stones, whatever. But I want to make a difference. I want you to make a difference. I want to make a difference in criticism and all that stuff. But I want to be able to, like, I'm trying to understand where that line is that we shouldn't cross? Like, should we be making jokes like that? Or should people be making jokes like that during a live stream? Like among friends, I think every single person does. Everyone laughs, has a good time with it. But was that one a little too far? I guess I don't know, man. You know, like
that's fine. You could just speak off the cuff. Like, so the reason why I ask is because, you know, what you took offense to, or you got, maybe you thought it was a little bit too far or whatever. The reason why I ask how long you've been watching the show for is because this is nothing different, man. If you've watched the show for a year or so, I think it's safe to assume, you know, or say that, oh, that's pretty normal. You know, it's pretty normal for Ryan. And again, I don't think it's so ridiculous or so insane for him to make a spear chucking joke or whatever the case would be, when like we're literally talking about a video game where you can do something like that. That's why like I made the joke on Griffcast today, and the last time I played the, you know, where I showcased this clip, right. And I'll just show it again just for people to have an understanding. You know, like I literally make a joke of it because that's what it is, bro. Like the fucking guy is literally throwing a spear. Like you know the color of his skin. I don't think it's so far-fetched or out of normal for Ryan to tell a terrible joke, which that's what it was. It was a terrible joke. And again, I'm not going to defend it because he could speak for himself. Right. But, you know, from my standpoint, it's like, this is nothing different from what we've been doing for the last year. So you as a viewer, why now? Like, why take offense now? Why take it to the point where now you have to rant about it for a stream, which, listen, you're more than welcome to do. Don't care. I want to make that very clear. I just had some questions, and that's one of them. Why now? Why this one?
Yeah, I just think it's a multitude of things, but one being that I've just grown, and it's never just one thing, right? It's always like the title of the stream, like the negativity content that is out there, which I've stopped viewing a lot of it for my own sanity, because I can't engage with it a lot. And then two, because I think my time's better served. And again, I think there's a way. I'm trying to find the right formula in order to.
Do you find my content negative?
No, I mean, at times,
you can be honest.
At times, yes. But again, I'm not here. Again, you're not dictating how I do content. I'm not dictating how you do content. It's merely just my opinion on it and how I think how it could affect things culturally.
Why do you view it as negative content, out of curiosity?
I guess because so much. I mean, it feeds the algorithm, right? It's what people want to see right now. They want to see the criticism of things that they don't particularly like. They want a sense of belonging. They want to know, like, oh, I don't like this thing. This guy doesn't like this thing either, and that's totally fine. You know, it's totally fine.
But you know, when it comes to the algorithm is what you make it, number one. Right. And I think your algorithm is fueled by whether or not the content you're producing is authentic. I think people can latch on to authenticity more so than anything, right? Because it's not that YouTube hates quote unquote positive content. It's just the problem is a lot of the people pushing out that positive content, people can smell the bullshit from a mile away, and they don't even bother watching them for any long period of time, aside from the first video that they might catch them on. And again, I never understood this whole thing of like content like mine is negative or mostly negative or whatever. I never understood that, because for me, it's not negative to consistently talk about the issues in the industry that I love vehemently. Like I love this industry, been gaming for way too fucking long. And I don't view it as a negative thing to talk about the issues that are plaguing the industries right now, in the hopes to inform people to the best of my ability. And keep in mind too, people don't see, this is like the misconception. People think that, that I'm just feeding the algorithm, and people want to come to my channel to be mad and to verify their anger. And it's like, that's not even the case. People come to channels like mine for transparency. That's the thing that's missing in the gaming industry and entertainment as a whole, transparency. I constantly bring up the issues and showcase the issues because nobody else is going to be transparent about it. You know, for damn sure, the industry's not going to do it. The journalists are not going to do it. They're not going to talk about the issues at hand. The only issue they ever want to talk about is the one that affects them the most, which is the layoffs. But then they never want to ask why the layoffs are happening. So it's like, it's kind of just a massive circle jerk. So transparency for me, I don't consider that to be negative content. And I don't think talking about issues in the industry should be considered negative content. People are looking for that because they need those answers. And unfortunately, the only one providing those answers are YouTubers. And sure, there are some fakes out there. There's no doubt about it. I can see them, and I think anybody else can see them, which is why, again, their channels usually aren't that big, or they don't grow, or people catch on to it. And, like, I think the best example right now is probably what happened with Andy Pants and Ackman. I think that's a pretty good example of, people getting caught with their pants down, no pun intended.
Right.
But yeah, that's why I asked that question. Like, why view that as a negative thing? Why view that as negative content?
Well, and here's what I'll say to that, because I think there's, I agree with almost everything you said. And I don't necessarily lump you in with, like, I think at times, sure, maybe my perception of it is that it's negative. But as I said, I know you're a hardworking dude. I know you're reading these articles. I know that you're looking at this stuff. You're playing games. You're giving your take on what you think is wrong with the industry, and you do it at a large volume. You do it well. I am, again, and I think that, right, my algorithm is my issue. It's because I do look at that stuff still. But I am not trying to formulate my thoughts fully, but
that's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not necessarily putting it all on you. And at all, my point really
I'm not
was,
saying you are. I'm just referencing what you specifically were talking about in the stream. That's all.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm the big bad evil of the fucking YouTube world. Like,
yeah, no, and I dude, I tried so hard to, like, in that, like, say multiple times, like, I'm nothing against Hypnotic or these guys. Like, they're totally, like, I've been on with them. They're funny. Like, it was like, just speaking of that specific thing was like, oh, like, and where I'm at in my headspace, all this stuff coming together, and it came down to just be critical of even of the people giving you information, even if I trust you with everything and, like, everything you say, I'll go and verify that, because I just, that's where I'm at. Like, I feel, in some ways, I feel like I don't trust anyone nowadays.